Welcome to Sacred Texts Summarized, where we distill the timeless wisdom of the world's most revered spiritual writings into concise and engaging lessons for modern life. In today's episode, we're exploring one of the most profound collections of spiritual knowledge ever written, the Upanishads. The word Upanishad means sitting near, symbolizing the intimate act of a student sitting close to a teacher to receive sacred wisdom. These ancient texts, composed over 2,500 years ago, form the philosophical backbone of the Vedas, the foundational scriptures of Hindu thought. But their insights transcend culture and religion, speaking to anyone seeking answers to life's most profound questions. Who are we? Why are we here? What is the ultimate truth? This episode will take you on a journey through the central teachings of the Upanishads, focusing on 5 key themes: the nature of Brahman, the true self, or Atman, the illusion of Maya, the path to liberation, or moksha, and the interconnectedness of all existence. Along the way, I'll share stories, metaphors, and insights that make these teachings relevant to our lives today. Let's begin. Let's start with the cornerstone of the Upanishads, Brahman, the ultimate reality. The Upanishads describe Brahman as infinite, formless, and eternal. It is the source of all existence, the foundation upon which the universe rests. Brahman is not a deity, not a thing you can see or touch. It is everything and nothing at the same time. It is the essence that pervades all life, the thread that connects the seen and the unseen. One of the most famous declarations from the Upanishads is, Brahman is all that is. This means that every aspect of the universe, every star, every tree, every moment of joy, and every moment of suffering is a manifestation of Brahman. And yet, Brahman is beyond these manifestations. It is the eternal truth that lies beneath the ever-changing surface of life. Imagine a pot made of clay. The pot has a shape, a purpose, a unique identity, but at its core, it is still just clay. In the same way, the Upanishads teach us that the world around us, with all its diversity and complexity, is simply Brahman taking different forms. When we understand this, we can begin to see beyond the superficial differences that divide us and recognize the unity that connects us all. One story from the Chandogya Upanishad beautifully illustrates this point. A father asks his son to dissolve salt into a bowl of water. The next day, the father asks the son to taste the water. The son replies, "The water is salty everywhere." The father explains, just as the salt is present in the water, even though you cannot see it, Brahman is present in everything, even though it is invisible to the senses. This teaching invites us to shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on the external appearances of things, we are called to look deeper, to seek the unchanging essence that lies beneath. In recognizing Brahman, we begin to understand that the divine is not somewhere out there. It is right here within us and all around us. Now let's turn inward. The Upanishads teach that within each of us lies the Atman, our true self. The Atman is not the body, not the mind, not the fleeting thoughts and emotions that we often mistake for who we are. The Atman is the eternal consciousness, the spark of divinity within each of us, and it is inseparable from Brahman. One of the most profound insights of the Upanishads is this: Atman is Brahman. The self and the universe are one. This realization is the key to spiritual liberation. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a passage that compares the Atman to a lump of salt. It says, just as a lump of salt has no inside or outside, but is wholly one taste, so too the self has no divisions. It is pure consciousness, infinite and indivisible. But how do we come to know this true self? The Upanishads emphasize that the Atman cannot be grasped through the senses or the intellect. It must be experienced directly. This is why practices like meditation and self-inquiry are so important. They help us quiet the noise of the external world and turn our attention inward toward the source of our being. The Upanishads also offer a powerful reminder. The Atman is always present whether we recognize it or not. It is like the sun, which continues to shine even when it is hidden behind the clouds. Our task is not to create the Atman, but to remove the illusions that prevent us from seeing it. This teaching challenges us to ask deeper questions. Who am I, really? Am I the roles I play, the thoughts I think, the emotions I feel? Or am I something more? By exploring these questions, we begin to peel back the layers of illusion and move closer to the truth. Why then do we not always feel this connection to Brahman and the Atman? The Upanishads explain this through the concept of Maya, or illusion. Maya is the veil that distorts our perception of reality, making us see separation where there is unity and permanence where there is impermanence. Think of a movie projector. When you watch a movie, it's easy to get caught up in the story, to believe in the characters and the drama unfolding on the screen. But behind the scenes, it's all just light and shadows. In the same way, Maya makes us mistake the play of appearances for the ultimate reality. The Katha Upanishad uses the metaphor of a chariot to describe how Maya operates. It says that the body is the chariot, the senses are the horses, and the mind is the reins. When the mind is undisciplined, the horses run wild, dragging the chariot in all directions. But when the mind is steady and focused, the chariot moves smoothly toward its destination. Maya is not inherently bad. It is simply the way the world appears to us through the lens of our conditioned minds. The problem arises when we become so caught up in Maya that we forget the deeper truth. The Upanishads encourage us to look beyond the surface, to see through the illusion, and to reconnect with the reality that lies beneath. The ultimate goal of the Upanishads is moksha, or liberation. Moksha is freedom from the cycle of birth and death, freedom from ignorance and suffering, and freedom from the illusion of separation. It is the realization of our true nature as Atman, one with Brahman. The path to moksha is not a one-size-fits-all journey. The Upanishads describe various approaches, each suited to different temperaments and life circumstances. For some, the path is through meditation, quieting the mind, and experiencing the self directly. For others, it is through selfless action, dedicating their work to a higher purpose without attachment to the results. And for others still, it is through devotion, surrendering to the divine with love and humility. One of the most striking teachings of the Upanishads is that moksha is not something to be attained in the future. It is already here, in this very moment. The Upanishads say, "You are already that which you seek." The journey is not about becoming something new, but about recognizing and remembering who you truly are. Finally, the Upanishads teach that all life is interconnected. The same divine essence that flows through you flows through me, through the trees, through the stars, and through every atom of the universe. This recognition inspires a profound sense of compassion and reverence for all beings. In the Isha Upanishad, it is written, "The one who sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings, hates no one. For what could they hate?" This teaching calls us to transcend the barriers of ego and see the world through the lens of unity. Imagine the world as a vast ocean. Each wave has its own shape and movement, but all waves are made of the same water. In the same way, the Upanishads remind us that beneath the diversity of life lies a fundamental oneness. As we close this exploration of the Upanishads, let's take a moment to reflect. These ancient texts invite us to look beyond the surface of life and question the nature of reality. They remind us that our true essence is infinite, eternal, and deeply connected to the universe. Thank you for joining on this journey. May the wisdom of the Upanishads inspire you to seek, to reflect, and to discover the profound truth within yourself.